The day has come. So we're going to go ahead and get together our cards for grading. We're going to sort through and figure out, we're going to get a 25 card allotment that we're going to figure out what we think is going to be a 10 or get the best grades, or a couple of them are just going to be personal ones that I want to get graded just for keeping. I'm going to tell you guys what all those are. I'm going to walk you through step by step what I'm going to do to send these cards into a TNT submission group. I'll walk you all the way through from getting the submission form to packing up your cards to sending them off, making your payment, all that stuff. I'm going to walk you through everything so that a couple of people have asked me how to do a submission. This is going to be going through a submission group through TNT Sports. It's not going to be going through PSA themselves. They're going to handle TNT is going to handle reviewing the cards, making sure there's not a couple of flaws that I might miss or something like that on the cards, and then they're going to send them off for you, and then they're going to send them back to you after the fact. And I'm going to walk you through every step of that along the way. Future me alert. We're going to go ahead and make this into a two-part series. This is just going to be your assessing your cards to send off, what you're looking for and what you need to get done to figure out what cards you want to send in. So this is going to be part one. Hope you'll stick around for the rest of this, and hope you'll be there for part two whenever we show you the rest of it. So if anyone has any questions, they can put it down there in the comments. Before we get started, go ahead and make sure you're subscribed. And I'm going to go through and dig out the cards first. And that's going to be our first step, is figuring out what we want to get graded. So what are your first steps for figuring out what cards you're going to send in to get graded? The first things that you need to do. I got my top three that I would say when you look at a card. The first thing you look at is value of the card. If it's a common, if it's worth 5 cents, 10 cents, dollar even, might not be worth it for you to send that card in. You don't really need to go any further. Although sometimes you can have cards that you do personally enjoy and want to get graded for yourself, perfectly understandable. And getting them graded, coming back at 10, does add a little bit of value. But for those lower end cards, it doesn't even add the value that you paid to get the card graded. So that's the first one, is value. Second one, I would say, is probably condition, is your number two. You look at the condition of the card. You look at the corners. You look at the edges, you look at the surfaces, back and front. You give it an eyeball test first to start. If it doesn't pass your eyeball test, don't need to go any further. If it does pass your eyeball test, you can move on and look at it a little closer, get a magnifying glass, take your phone and zoom in. Anything you can do to better assess the condition of the card on your own, it's only going to benefit you in the long run. You're going to look at all of those, like I said, just like Beckett, like on the Beckett one where they break it down on, not that I'm saying send your stuff to Beckett. You can. You go just like Beckett would: corners, edges, surfaces, and centering. So you're going to look at all of that. If it passes your eyeball test and it passes the magnifying test, probably good enough to go on if you met that first condition, which you should have already done. The third condition, or the third substance thing that I would be looking for in the card, is scarcity. So if you have a card, and it can kind of outweigh the value part of it a little bit, but if you have a card that's rare, whether it be a numbered card, obviously numbered cards are kind of rare, although there's so many different numbered cards nowadays, or if it's an older card, or if it's a short print or a super short print or something that's got scarcity to it, it's going to increase the value. It's going to increase the value that there is in the graded card if it comes back a 10 or a 9 or 9.5 if you send it to Beckett. So those are the three things that I would say look at first before you do anything else. You go through your cards, you look at the value of the card, you look at the condition of the card, and you look at the scarcity of the card. And those three things are going to be mostly what's going to determine whether they're worth sending in, or whether it's just going to be something you might just want to sell raw, or maybe hold on to and hope that player catches some fire. Maybe it will increase the value of that a little further down the road. But those are the three first things that I would suggest. So this is the box of cards that I've isolated for cards that I am looking at to get graded. I have actually sorted them out for a couple different things for this video. A couple of them are in here just because of their excessive value. as far as a card goes. I mean, not hugely excessive, but a larger value card. Some of them are in here just because of their outstanding condition, regardless of value. And then some of them are in this box due to their scarcity, regardless of condition or value. And we're kind of sort through there and see, what outweighs what and things like that. I'm not going to make you search through every card, but I'm going to pull out some examples of each. And then at the end, I'm going to show you guys what I think my top 25 cards are, and I'll tell you why I feel that way. So these cards are going to be examples of cards that I would say are value-based cards. These are the ones I set aside to go ahead and say, all right, value is what we're going to look at. This is obviously a 1990 Leaf Frank Thomas, and that's a higher value card. So after that, I would then assess, okay, corners look good. I think you can see the corners. There we go. Corners look good. Centering looks a little heavy left, slightly, like a 60-40 probably, but that's not terrible. With those corners, you check your back, your front. There's a little bit of whiting up here in the top corner. I'm trying to give you examples of everything that you would look for. A little bit of whiting down here in the bottom corner. So this has some value to it, but I don't know that I would send that in. So we're going to set that over there to the left as a no. Then we've got the Verlander rookie. Same thing. It's a higher value card. It's a Topps Chrome. I think it's 2006, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you got Verlander. Back, good on the edges, good on the corners. The surfaces, I've kind of already looked at the surfaces on these. So the surfaces are good. So you guys get to kind of take my word for it. And this card has value on its own, not graded. Graded as a higher value. So we're going to put that in the yes category. This is going to be that Shohei Ohtani. Again, that's a high value player. The card is good on centering, a little right heavy. You can see a little whiting up here in this top corner. Right there. I can kind of zoom in on it. Maybe you can get a better angle at it. There we go. Slightly whiting. Then on the back, your back looks good. Good centering. Corners look good on the back, but it had that on the front. Now this card I may send in and have them review because I'm not sure. So we're going to put that over here as a maybe. That's going to be a maybe to send in. This is a CES card right here. It's his first Bowman. I'll probably take this tape off of there. Auto looks clean. On this, you're going to want to get your auto. On these, you kind of want to get the auto graded if you can, if it comes out good. Auto looks clean. Centering looks pretty good. Maybe a little heavy to the right. Your corners all on the front look good. The surface was good. Like I said, I checked all the surfaces before I started this. And yeah, the back looks fine on the centering. The corners, there's a little whiting up here in this top right corner, but we're going to put that as a maybe for them to take a look at. All right. We got this Burrow card, and its centering is real good. The surface was fine. The corners all look good. The edges look good up here. You're going to check your edges across here, edges down the side, edges on the bottom, edges over here. And if you need to, sometimes you can put it on cards like this. You can put it up against the surface. I'll get it down a little bit to check those corners. Like on the colored corners, you can put it up on the back right here. I mean, I know you guys can't see that, but on this, the back looks good as well. So we're going to put that over there. So those are just examples. You get into, this is one. I kind of want to get this graded personally. So the value is high on it. I also want to get it done personally just to have. So that's definitely going to be a yes. Corners were good, all that stuff. Now we come to these Brady's that we had. Like I told you, we had the 3 Tom Brady rookies. All of them have a higher value. So you look at them and think, oh man, I need to get those graded. But when you start looking at them, and I'll scoot you up a little, but you can see that corner right there, right here, has a little bit of whiting on it right there. And you can see that the centering a little bit is off a little bit to the right. as well as you can see up at the top, there's a little bit of whiting up there. So that's probably going to be a no on that one, but we'll put it in the maybe pile just in case. Now you get into this one, and this one, the centering's a little better on, but you can see that this corner up here is a bit rounded. That's what you want to look at. If there's whiting on the corners or rounding on the corners, then you're going to have a corner issue. You can see this one's a little bit rounded. I'll put my hand back there and see if that helps you guys see it a little bit. But that's one of the things you want to assess on it. Now this one up here has a ding right up top of there. Let it zoom in a little bit. But right here, there's a ding on that top corner. So that's going to be a no. Now, we've got this Tom Brady, which the surface looked good. The corners all looked real good on it. Up here, this right one may be a little soft, but like I said, sometimes stuff will outweigh a certain thing, like whether the value's lower or if the condition's great, will outweigh it. On this case, this one is numbered. So by it being numbered, that's going to make it rare and it's going to make it high value. So sometimes that's going in the yes pile. Sometimes a 9 on that is not the worst thing in the world. So that's going to be the ones that were value based and how we decided to go through them. Now, these are going to be cards that after your eye test, you're going to look at and you're going to say, hey, man, those corners were great. Those edges were great. They're not very high value, but it's just in such great condition that if I got a 10, it may actually be worth it. But you want to go back, and that's when you want to start, your more close personal exam. So I set this one aside. I set this one aside because the corners are great, the edges are fine, the surfaces are great on both sides. You got a clean back, everything. But you're a little top heavy here on the right, which may affect your centering. So even though this is in great shape in all those other aspects, because of that and the low value, you probably don't want to send this one in. So we're going to set that over there with the Frank Thomas. This is another one that doesn't have much value. I mean, it is a Bowman's first edition, but the condition is solid corner, solid edges, surface, centering. Everything's good on that. So this is one that you might want to consider sending in, even though it doesn't have the high value. Because if you were to get a 10 on it, it may actually be worth it. This one has great centering. Edges were clean, corners were clean. Same thing on the back. And I mean, it's a high value player. It's a Gretzky card, but I just don't think that even getting a 10 would be worth sending it in. So I'm going to put that one in the no pile. Then we got this Jonathan Taylor, which is great shape. An autograph. I just want to give you an idea of a higher numbered one. That's not on the card. That's on the holder. I checked that out. This is one that, condition based may actually be worth it. If it were just a regular or had some, I wouldn't even consider it. But so we'll put that in the pile over there just to get it graded. Now this right here is a Kobe card. Great corners, great edges, but you can see the centering on it is a little right heavy. Is it worth it? With the centering, maybe. But the fact that this is a Panini Complete, which is a very low end card, probably not worth it with that. If it was centered a little better, might be, but I probably wouldn't even do it then. But I wanted to give you an example of, a couple examples of great conditioning or great condition, but with just some flaw that you can't overlook. This is a, Tony Atlas, which you know how I feel about wrestling cards. I love the wrestling cards. This is pretty good on the centering. It's not too, it might be a little heavy on the left over here. You can see right there, it's a little left heavy. And this top corner up here, this is one that, due to the condition of it being so old, being 82, 83, with it being so old and being a halfway decent condition, it may actually be worth sending it in. The value is, it's probably like a $20 card, so it has some value to it. And with its condition, which also adds to the what I would say like scarcity or rarity of the card, it doesn't always have to be numbered. It can just be an older card that's in great shape because there's not a lot of these floating around. Something like this, maybe a 7 or an 8 might actually be worth it. You don't have to get a 9 or a 10. So that is kind of includes all three. It's got a good value, good condition, and a good rarity on it. So we're going to put that in the yes pile over there. Same thing with this Ripken card. Maybe a little left heavy, but I mean, I think it's an 84. Corners all look good on the back. Edges look good. There's a slight bit of whiting up here in this corner. Like that's kind of stuff you want to look at. The benefit is with the grading services with TNT, if you send it in and you pay for the review, they'll kind of do what I'm doing here for you, but it does cost about $4 a card or so. Like this Yastrzemski, for being an 83 tops, especially on the back, is in really good shape. And you may look at it and be like, oh man, I bet there's not a lot of these floating around in a 10 or a 9, but you're not going to get a 10 with that centering being so right heavy. So unfortunately, that one, even with the great corners and the great edges and the clean surfaces, with that centering, you'll be lucky to get a 9 on it. So that's something that has to do with the condition. I just showed you guys condition sometimes makes a difference, but most of the time it's that value followed by condition is going to be your steps. So there's going to be a couple examples of rarity. So this is going to be a purple, this mosaic. It's not a high value card. Mosaic's not necessarily the highest value in baseball, but it is numbered to 49. So it is a rare card. So you look at the rarity, you check out the condition, you kind of work your way backwards on it when you're just worried about rarity. You check the condition, corners are good, edges are good, surfaces were good. But the value on this, I don't know that it's worth it. Even if it came back at 10, I don't know that it's worth it. And I can look up some of these prices to give you guys an estimation on it. But so we look at this. This is going to be a high value card as well as a rare card because it is numbered to 2010 on there. If you guys can see that, right over here. Oops, there's my finger right over there. It's numbered to 2010. It's one of the gold Buster Posey rookies. And high value card. It's got some rarity to it, but this top corner up here, I don't know if you can see it, has a little rounding to it and a little whiting on there. Back looks fine, centering looks fine, everything else looks fine. Because of the rarity and the value of this card, even with that corner, I'm still probably going to send it in and take a shot at it getting a 9 because a 9 would be worth it. This is also an example of Mike Trout of the rarity, it being an aqua. It's numbered to 175. I think it's 199. Yeah. It's numbered to 199. And, it's a rare card because it's numbered to 199. Corners are good. Edges are good. Surface is good all around. So this I would probably put in the yes pile because being a 10 on that, which I think that would get, is going to make it worth it. This is going to be one of those ones that is a short print or a super short print. This is the Yankees, the photoshopped one. He was originally in a Detroit Tigers jersey for this set, the 2010 set, but he got traded partway through the season, so there is a variation of him in a Yankees uniform. So they photoshopped Yankees uniform, Yankees, and made that card. So it is a super short print. So for that reason, almost entirely, you want to send this card in because you can see the centering's good on it. Little left heavy maybe. Edges are good. Same thing on the back. Little left heavy on this side, but because of it being a super short print and the fact that it took me so long to pull one of those out of the box of 2010, I'm going to send that in personally. This right here is it's a Ryan Sandberg. It's 87 tops. Corners are good, edges are good, centering is good, maybe slightly right heavy. But the reason that this one is in the rarity pile is because it is a Topps Tiffany. So the Tiffany sets are a lot rarer. So with this being a rarer card and with being in such good condition, outside of that little centering on the left that it's heavy, this one makes it worth it and being in the S pile due to the condition of the value, the condition, and the rarity. And so these are going to be rare cards now because these people have passed away, which is, and oftentimes in sports collecting increases the value, unfortunately, of cards. But I got this signed years ago and I kind of just want to keep it for myself. So I'm really just slabbing that kind of for posterity's sake for me to keep. Now this is another example of one of those wrestling all-star cards. It's a little bottom heavy, little right heavy. Condition is really good, and it's autographed. So, and she has passed away since I've got this autographed. So I want to get this graded. I'm sure it will increase the value of it, getting it graded, because it's, corners are good, edges are good. Outside of that centering, it's a clean card. Plus, it has autograph on there. So that's something that's rare and will be graded due to its rarity. And these are cards that kind of all three fall into all three of those categories in some way or another. So this is an Andrew Vaughn autograph rookie card out of Bowman's Best. It was a redemption from Topps. Really good condition, signature. It is also numbered to 150. So it's one of those ones that has some value to it, really good condition, and it has scarcity because it's numbered and because it's autographed. So that's definitely going to go in the yes pile. Now you may ask yourself, because it still has a top seal on it, do I want to get it autographed or do I just want to leave it with the top seal? That's up to you guys. Obviously, if I were to get a 10 on the auto and a 10 on the card, it would increase the value of it. But that's kind of a personal decision. Like, this card has not been touched since it got here from Topps, but that's kind of up to you. But I'm putting in the yes pile. I don't mind if they break the seal on it. This is the Barry Bonds card out of 2006 Topps Chrome. Not necessarily high value, except for the fact that it is numbered to 25. It's number 22 out of 25, which increases it and makes it a high value card. This card is in really good condition, really good centering, really good corners, clean surface, both sides. So because of the scarcity of it and the condition of it, that's a very valuable card. This one, really good condition. Auto was clean. Surfaces were clean. It's not numbered or anything, but I mean, it's a Freddie Freeman, so I'm keeping this. But I mean, it still has value, has great condition, and scarcity of it being an auto, makes it fall into that category. Same thing with this Casey Mize. It also is autographed, but it's also numbered to 50. It's a gold out of Topps Finest, and it's clean all around. So that meets all three categories. Got high value, relatively high value, autographed for scarcity, and condition was really, really good on this card. Now, same thing with this. This Albert Pujols card itself does not necessarily have a huge value on it, although it's not terrible. It's probably 10, 15 bucks. But it is numbered to 2010 set. It is in really good shape, which is going to increase the value of the card. If this comes back as a 10, it's about $100 card or so. So this makes it worth it due to the condition and due to the scarcity of it. So it kind of meets all three categories, but because of that, it has a higher value. Same thing with this Christian Walker card. It's got clean auto, great centering, great corners, edges, just like all the other ones. But this one also has a scarcity factor of being numbered to 150. So that kind of meets all three in the category. And this is what I was hoping one day was going to be my big boy card. But it is definitely not so much of a big boy card. But it is in really great shape. It is numbered to 5. I don't know if you can see that right there. Might not be able to. Right where my finger's at, it says 1 of 5 right there. I can zoom it in. There you go. Right there. 1 of 5. Autographed, rarity, great condition, great centering, all that stuff. Could be a high value card one day, but because of that, and the condition, that increases the value. So we're sending that in the yes pile. And this, unfortunately, is what we're going to call the money sucker of all grading when you get your cards graded. These are the just because I want to get it graded cards. Now, obviously, they're going to be in halfway decent condition, but not all of them are. Some of them are just because I want it in a slab. So I love this Goldberg Little Caesars card. Probably didn't have any value. Condition's okay. Definitely doesn't have any rarity, but I want to get that graded. Jerry the King Lawler. Centering's not great on it. Corners are okay. Edges are all right. autographed, but I want this card in a slab. So it will probably go in the yes pile. Got a chipper rookie. Of my chipper rookies, this is the one that's probably in the best shape. And even the corners on this are not great, but I want it in a slab. So these are kind of going to be just because I want to. I got that autograph from a kid when I was a kid by Craig Biggio. Corners are not great, but I kind of want the auto on that verified and slabbed up. This, I just like the Menendez brother Mark Jackson card. Corners aren't great on it. I just want it in a slab. Same thing here. We got some Hamilton Porter. Love this card. One of my favorite cards that I have. It's because I love some Hamilton Porter. Now, I am going to admit to something to you guys. I was chasing the Lincoln Variations for the longest time in the 2010 Top Series 1. And I never was able to pull one. I opened 7 HTA boxes and never got one. So I caved in, even though I said I never would. I caved in and I bought the Lincoln Variations. So I now have, I guess this is the big reveal. I now have all of the Lincoln Variation 2010 tops. There's the Dempster. You can see Lincoln right here. And I'm getting these graded because I just want the set together. Their condition is okay. I don't think they're making 10s on any of them. But you can see there's Lincoln standing there. I can zoom in maybe a little bit. Right there. You can see him standing there. Yep. Okay. Same thing with the Milton Bradley. You can see Lincoln up there in the scoreboard. I was going to do these just as a single video to show you guys, but I figure this is the easiest way to get it out. If someone actually made it all the way through here, you see Tyler Colvin back there with Lincoln standing in the back. So if you guys are ever looking through some 2010, this is what you're looking for. And this one here is going to be the most difficult to find the Lincoln, but he's sitting right there. There's the Lincoln. That's the Lincoln Variation for those 4 Cubs cards. And then this is, as you guys know, one of my favorite cards, probably my favorite card, or close to it. And it's going to be the Al Bundy. So those are just ones that I want to get graded because I want to keep them forever and put them in my collection. So we're going to roll through it real quick. These are going to be the 25 is actually 26. I couldn't decide between, I wanted a Tebow. I'm sorry. So we got the Griffey, gold Griffey. Some of these are going to be ones you guys didn't see. I was just using all those other ones as examples for stuff. That's the Tebow that I wanted to throw in there, making it 26. We got an Austin Riley black auto to 199. Obviously, that's for my own collection. I had a Buster Posey rookie that was in really good shape. Good centering, good corners, all that. So we sent that. I had a Burrow NFL debut. Then we had the Herschel Walker, the Verlander, the Brady. I'm a sucker for punishment, so I'm sending in these 2 Bradys. Tony Atlas, the Buster Posey Gold, the Granderson, the Joyce Grable, the Goldberg, the Reyes, the Christian Walker, the Pujols, the Casey Mize, the Freeman, the Bonds, all of the Lincoln Variations, and then my good old Al Bundy. 4 touchdowns in 1 game. Good old Polk High. And that's going to be the ones that we're sending in to TNT. So if you made it this far, there's a part 2 coming. Stick around for part 2. That's going to be the getting the submission form, filling out the submission form, packing up your cards and sending them off. We're going to squeeze that all into a video. We're keeping it just a hair under 30 minutes. And hopefully we can do the next one a little bit less, but make sure you get you guys fully informed of how to get your cards graded and what to look for. Thank you guys for watching. You can subscribe over here if you didn't already earlier when I told you to, and you can watch my next video right over this way. See ya.